Pop Culture Shock Collectibles, a statue-based company, has announced that they recently acquired the Hasbro license to manufacture a whole bunch of statues based on the Transformers franchise specifically. There haven't really been announcements of anything outside of Transformers from the Hasbro acquisition, just Transformers for now, so no G.I. Joe or anything else announced at that point. Um, they said in their press release statement that it's going to be G1 based statues that'll be coming in hopefully mid to late 2018. The statues will be cartoon accurate, similar to that of their Pop Culture Shocked Filmation He-Man series. The ideas of which statues they want to make will be pretty much put up to Transformer fan sites to votes and suggestions, and they'll be both in a small and large scale of statues. Now, the thing with Pop Culture Shock, as opposed to other statue companies and stuff like that, is that they're a high-end statue company, which is very expensive stuff. And I mean, when they're saying here even both small and large scale Transformer statues, uh, even their smallest statues, which are based off of human characters. To give an example, Pop Culture Shock has the Street Fighter franchise, and their smallest statues out of all of the licenses they have are the Street Fighter ones because they do so many variants of them because of all the different colors of the Street Fighter characters, player 1, player 2, championship edition, everything. So to give an example, like something like Ryu, Ken, or Akuma being their smallest statues, are 17 and a half inches, which to give in, say, a Transformer comparison, it's slightly a little taller than the Titan class Devastator. So already that's a huge statue. And that's their small stuff. And those start, hold on to your butt here, those start at between $300 and $500, those statues. When you go into their larger statues, and they mentioned in a comparison to the cartoon series Filmation He-Man stuff that they work on, those statues are even larger. To give an example, their Skeletor one is 21 inches, which is more akin to that of, say, Titans Returns Fortress Maximus. And that's a big statue. That's a big, big block of statue that is unarticulated. Now, that being said, Pop Culture Shock does amazing statues. And what I mean by that is, compared to other statue companies that I've seen, Imaginarium, even Hard Heroes going back a decade or so, all of Pop Culture stuff is an emphasis on insane screen accuracy. And I know for a fact I've always drooled at a lot of their Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat stuff that they've done because it's literally the best artistic representations of those characters, articulated or not. There hasn't been figures and or statues that have matched what Pop Culture Shock has done. I look at their He-Man stuff and it's the same thing. While I'm not a big fan of He-Man, I could appreciate how accurate the filmation depictions are of He-Man, Tila, Skeletor, and a lot of the other statues that they've done. Their website has a huge list of all the stuff that they've done in the past to give you a really good idea. The only issue that I have is the price. And the prices on a lot of these items, I mean, they hit as high as four digits. So considering that even the smaller scale stuff, which let's say an iconic Bumblebee statue that might come with maybe a spike, it'll be extremely show accurate. It'll make Sunbow and Flair O'Deary proud how accurate it'll be. But it'll probably be a starting at potentially that of, let's say, 300 bucks, which a lot of Transformer fans are not used to spending in general. Our most expensive Masterpiece toys are not $300. Our most expensive, largest Transformer toys, going back to, say, Fortress Maximus and Metroplex and the recent Triptychon, are not $300. The only time we ever hit $300 as a Transformer collector is when we're talking either Bakon box sets, which is multiple figures and it's an exclusive and limited and da 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 and all of that stuff, which even those kind of dip in value. And those are still articulated figures and a limited run. And Aside from that, it's secondary market items that have gotten old and thus increase heavily in value, but never new market items, stuff like this. So this is going to be an interesting direction that Pop Culture Shock is going to be taking to go into the Transformer fandom and see what the fans want to pay and what they want to buy. Considering that I've seen what the average market of stuff is, and also uh, going off of Hot Toys and their lack of success when they jumped into the Transformer game because they started seeing how a lot of Transformer fans are not willing to spend $300, $400 on a non-transforming, in this case at least articulated Optimus Prime and Megatron. So, and not to mention in the past when it came to statues with Transformer collectors, statues that existed, say from Hard Heroes and stuff like that, ranged between $60 to $100, which was a lot easier pill to swallow. But granted, most of them were busts or they were head sculpts, or in the case of, let's say, the Unicron, which was the most expensive of the bunch, was a whole body, but still never in that same price point of 300 to $1,000, ranging. Because again, there's different sizes of characters and everything in Transformers. So obviously, a Bumblebee will be considerably cheaper than that, say, of a taller Optimus Prime or Ultra Magnus. I don't know. I'm I'm am excited to see how these look because their track record of screen accuracy is incredible. And if they ever did, let's say, a movie hot rod or a cup or an RC, it'll be dead on. Like it'll be dead on, chances are. But the price point is what's going to kill a lot of people. Where Transformer fans are constantly in their pursuit for screen accuracy and something for their masterpiece shelf, but they're also used to spending maybe 150 or less on their items. Even something like the giant Omega Supreme third party stuff that's kicking around is barely hitting that $300 price point. And even then, that's at the pursuit of screen accuracy of a large character that still transforms and has lights and sounds. Now, granted, with their pre-existing stuff that exists, with their Street Fighter line and that of their Mortal Kombat line, with characters that wear clothing, they use real clothing. With characters that do have some kind of a light up gimmick, they do add a light up gimmick. But at the end of the day, even those ones that have specific clothing and light up gimmicks, you're talking $500 statue. So again, expensive stuff here. So it's going to be really interesting to see the routes that they go and how they're going to go about this. Number one, asking voting from the fans. So chances are we're probably going to either get the basics, as I like to call it, the 84, 85 basics of Optimus Prime, Megatron, Soundwave, Starscream, Bumblebee, Jazz, maybe throw a Shockwave in there, Devastator, Grimlock, those basics. But if they source from the fans and stuff starts going outside of the bubble, which might be Beast Wars stuff getting voted in, or possibly maybe some 86 characters of a Hot Rod or RC. Um, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens from the fan vote side, but on top of that, how it'll influence the the price pointing. I mean, it's I don't know who like in the fandom who has that kind of money to spend on multiple statues. They clearly seem to have a lot of success when it comes to the Street Fighter franchise, and they release tons of different statues of the same character and multiple costumes and stuff like that. But I know for a fact that the Street Fighter fandom doesn't really have a lot of toys they got to chase like we do every year. They'll get an SH Figure Arts here and there, maybe a Mezco, maybe a Jazzware, which they'll probably avoid because most of those, again, are not of the best quality. So for them, their pursuit for perfection is not on a year-to-year basis. It's really very rare for them, and they rarely get amazing figures. It's even the Play Arts Kai stuff that they did was short-lived because a lot of people just weren't satisfied with it. So it's something that they find that they have a market there, but the Transformer fans that already put exuberant amounts of their money and their wallets into Masterpiece, into mainline and retail stuff, into Japanese imports, to then put aside $500 to get the most perfect Optimus Prime statue. I don't know. To get the most perfect Optimus Prime Soundwave. I don't know. a lot of those same people would sooner take that money and get, a Japanese masterpiece Soundwave or a MP10, Japanese release. I find it's going to be a very thin market. And already Imaginarium, which is another statue company, which isn't doing what pop culture is doing. They're doing high-end, expensive statues, but just more shiny artistic interpretations of G1 characters, whether it be a Megatron. They did a Unicron. They have a Rodimus on the way, and even those are between 300 and 500 bucks. And those are also very large statues, but those have swappable pieces. They're trying to make it more of a customizable thing. They have payment plans, and already I could see that they're probably not going to have a lot of luck either. I know I've been in talks a little bit with Imaginarium when it came to the Rodimus one, and how it's going to be a big pill to swallow to pull off that kind of stuff. So it's going to be very interesting to see where Pop Culture Shock goes with this, because I love their stuff. I love their fighting game stuff. Their Mortal Kombat stuff is some of the best interpretations ever of those classic characters and those classic looks. And there's not a single action figure on the market that even comes close to that. And it's the same thing with the Street Fighter brand. They have some of the most, mouth-watering figures in terms of design that just I've yet to see matched with Play Arts Kai or SH Figure Arts right now for the Street Fighter brand. And even going back to even from the likes of NECA when they had it back in the day. So this is very interesting. I want to see what they put out, but even more so, I want to see if when they put that bait on the hook, if any Transformer fans will bite, because our wallets already go to so many different places on a month to month basis. This is going to be crazy.